Everyone, my name is Vanya Frank and welcome to my channel. Today I have a message for my special needs community. And I know that sounds really broad. For those of you who found this video somehow, please take what resonates and leave the rest. This message will not resonate with everyone, I know that, and it's not intended to. But for those for whom this does resonate, I hope it really brings you healing and peace of mind and solace, comfort, and just evokes your own knowing in the truth, in your truth. Please know also that this is my community. I have a son on the autism spectrum, and he is a very, 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 very special soul. I mean, very. This message is for anyone out there who has someone on the autism spectrum in their lives. Could be a loved one, a friend, perhaps. And it's for those who know that this person is also a very, 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 very special soul in your own lives, too. So when you have someone like this in your life, you can feel their essence really strongly. What I've experienced with my son is that I really feel the power of his soul. In many ways, he's light years ahead of the rest of us spiritually, certainly myself. But his physical body needs support. So the rest of him, the rest of him does not at least not lessons from me, but he needs support and love, of course. And he's just a really big and amazing soul energetically, and he's trying to fit all that into this physical body that can feel really limiting as well. And perhaps you can resonate to that with your loved one also. So when you think about an aspect of their development that is challenged because of the physical body, when you think of something like speech, many of us sometimes, think that that's the only or best way to communicate. I grew up in a collective culture, which was very different than American culture. And to be clear, not better or worse, I grew up here in America too, so I got plenty of American culture. So in some aspects of life, I prefer the culture I'm a part of. And in other aspects, I really like the American culture that I'm a part of. And in American culture, what's valued is directness and saying what you mean. Whereas in other cultures, what you mean doesn't always need to be said because it's already just collectively understood. And in spiritual culture, you can feel beyond the words that are being spoken. Often when I'm working with someone, what's not said can even be the key to unlocking someone's connection with their own knowing or something that's been going on with them. So when I look at something like speech, I try and look at it a little differently in this context. Speech is just a form of energetic expression, and it's not the only form of energetic expression. And I really try and remind myself of this because this is an area where my son struggles. And so it's an area where, as a mom, I struggle and my heart breaks at times. And I try and remind myself it's not the only form of expression. He's expressing himself all the time to me in other ways. He's expressing himself energetically. We can express energetically through our emotions, through art, through sports, through everyday activities, through writing. We express in a million ways as we move through the world. And we often, I think, show people who we are more than we tell people who we are. And I try and remember that too. I try and remember that about my son. That's what it really feels like to be with my son. I feel him. I feel so much more of him than he's able to express through words. He really is pure light, and he's pure love and pure power. And being around him, you can't help but feel better. Your own energy lifts, and he's just that being. And I'm not saying this to just talk about my son. I'm saying this because I know you know this about your loved one too. I know that for those of you who find this video, You may know this, you might be very aware of this, or there's a part of you that this is resonating with because a deep part of you knows this to be true about your loved one also. So that doesn't mean, of course, that I also don't support him in being in his physical body and support his physical development and growth. Do I want him to have more speech and be conversational? Absolutely. Do I want him to feel good in his body? Yes. Do I want his methylation pathways to be open so his body can process things that are happening within it, like food and nutrients, and also process things that are happening around him with ease? Yes, absolutely. Do I want him to grow and develop as much as possible? Hell yes. And to all of this, I say yes, yes, and yes, about a million times over. Each day, I try my best to remember who he is, which is just much more than his physical body. And at the same time, I also do everything possible that I'm aware of that he needs to support his physical body as well. So, for those of you who do have someone like my son in your lives, I just think that you know this to be true also. I have a sense that you're aware of who they are. And especially if this is your own child, you know who your child is, and no one can tell you otherwise. And deficits are always going to be discussed, and what maybe some practitioners might focus on. Not being malintentioned or anything, but because they want to help our kids and loved ones make progress. And that might be the language that they're accustomed to or trained in using. It could be a variety of things. But even through that, the journey can be very difficult. And so I think this is just a message that wanted to be shared about knowing the truth of your loved one, knowing their essence, and remembering that while you also do things to support their physical body every day. And hopefully you feel that. You feel their true essence beyond these kind of surface symptoms. And hopefully you have awareness and support of the things that can be done to help those that you love be more in their bodies and be able to access their bodies in the ways that they want. God bless you, and may healing come your way. May only healing come your way. Have a beautiful week, everyone.